Speaker, thank you. I also rise to address the matter for public importance submitted by the member for Caulfield relating to Labor's big build, relating to CFMEU-driven cost blowouts, relating to the impact of the suburban rail loop on our economy and our community. And Speaker, in doing so, I'd like to... Where did the member for Bentley go? He's gone. He's gone. Well, he had a few things to say about me, so it's disappointing that he's not here in the chamber to hear the return serve.
What a shame.
See, the thing is, Speaker, what I'm doing in my community is listening to my community.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing is hearing my community when it comes to the suburban rail loop. Now, those on the government side of the chamber will say time and time again, we didn't just take the suburban rail loop to one election, we took it to 2 elections, and that gives us the mandate to deliver the suburban rail loop. Well, I'll tell you the truth of that in my community is this, Speaker. The truth of it is that the majority of my community didn't vote for the suburban rail loop. In fact, they voted for me.
They voted for you.
Not once in 2018, but twice, again in 2022. And in the time, in the intervening period between 2018 and 2022, I increased my margin by about 5.5%. Such is the disdain for the Labor suburban rail loop in my community. It is untrue to say that everything was known about Labor's suburban rail loop before the 2022 election. In fact, it's only after the 2022 election that we're actually understanding the truth of Labor's suburban rail loop. 18-storey, high-density, high-rise towers in my community next to 1- and 2-storey suburban lots. That is unacceptable. My community did not vote for that. My community did not vote for 6,000 cubic metres of Category A toxic waste to be removed from the Sir William Fry Reserve, which is what needs to be done before Joan the Boring Machine arrives on site to start building these tunnels to wherever they're going. My community did not vote, Speaker, for the government to remove more than 50% of Sir William Fry Reserve. Sir William Fry Reserve is a much-loved passive recreational space in my community. And yes, the government has said that it plans to replace it, metre for metre, but where and when? And those details are sadly lacking. These are the things that my community did not vote for. These are the things that the Victorians did not vote for. And these are the things the Victorians, certainly Victorians in my community, need to be informed about. And that is why next Thursday night I will be holding a community forum on these matters, to inform my community, to engage with my community, to hear my community, and to come back to this place and to convey to the government the truth of this project and the impact of it on my community. Set all of that aside, Acting Speaker, just for 1 second. Welcome to the chair. Set aside that just for 1 minute. Let's talk about the economics of this. The government today, as recently as today in question time, the Premier, as of today, as recently as today in question time, would not confirm that the expected amount for the suburban rail loop of, what is it, $34.5 billion will in fact stay. And given the history of this government over the last 10 years, 10 years of Labor and 10 Labor budgets, chances are, if you look to history, it will be another Labor government blowout. And Victorians are paying the price. Acting Speaker, I have a very firm view on these matters. At this point in our history, we're in the middle of a hospital and health crisis. When education standards in this state are flatlining, if they're not declining, we've got 30% of those students in grade 3 who can't count to 20 after 10 years of Labor. That is the circumstance in this state. We've got a health and hospital crisis, we've got an education crisis, we've got a housing crisis, and this government is so darn set, so bloody minded on delivering this vanity SRL project that they have forgotten people. They have forgotten the Victorian people. And this is what happens after 10 years of being in government. This is not a partisan comment. This is what happens after 10 years of being in government. Hubris sets in. They stop listening to the people who have given them the great privilege of being there and serving the state in the first place. The SRL, Acting Speaker, is friendless, whether it's the Grattan Institute, whether it's RMIT's Professor Michael Buxton, whether it's the Rail Futures Institute. The SRL is absolutely and utterly friendless. And it's about time this Labor government read the tea leaves, read the Labor Pulse's publication. Who was it? Cos? Old mate Cos was out there saying the SRL is friendless. Fair dinkum, read the tea leaves. Get with the program. Because we simply cannot afford it, and we should be prioritising the Victorian people over vanity projects every day, ending in why this Labor government simply do not get it. Just yesterday, Acting Speaker, just yesterday, the ABS released its latest business figures in Victoria. Do you know how many businesses have closed down or have left this state in the last 12 months? 100. Thank you very much, Member for Narrowcan. Top prize for you. 152,000 businesses have closed down in this state or left this state in the last 12 months. At this point in our history, we've got the highest debt in the country. We've got the highest unemployment in the country. We've got the lowest wage growth in the country, the highest inflation in the country. And this is a government who is so darn set on creating their big bill, which will in fact end up being Victorians' big bill. It's a Labor government that that Victorians simply cannot afford. Simply cannot afford. Whether it be the Metro Tunnel, just yesterday it was revealed $888 million on top of the already $3.36 billion total cost blowout on that project. Acting Speaker, where is that money coming from? Just last sitting week, a couple of weeks ago, it was revealed that this government planned to pour $1.5 billion into health. They first claimed that there were no health cuts. They swore black and blue there have been no health cuts, record funding for health, and yet they come around and they say, no, $1.5 billion in additional money for health. But where is that coming from? Because the Treasurer was out there at the doors of this place and he said, no, we won't be increasing our debt. So if you're not increasing your debt, how do you pay the $1.5 billion? Well, here are your two options. You cut services or projects, or you raise taxes. You raise taxes. They're the only other two ways of increasing revenue. And just yesterday, $888 billion, so whether it's $1.5 billion 2 weeks ago, $888 million, close to $1 billion just yesterday, Labor can't manage money. They can't manage projects, and Victorians, day after day, week after week, year after year, are paying the price. Now, the thing that keeps me up at night, Acting Speaker, is this. It's still 2 and a bit years until the next election. And I hate to say it, and I am generally an optimistic person, I am generally a hopeful person, but I hate to say it. For the next 2 years, Victorians should be on notice. Because if you look to the last 10 years of the economic destruction that has wreaked havoc on this state at the hands of Premier Andrews and now Premier Allen, I think it is fair to say that Victorians should expect more. They should expect more. If you want to know what people are going to do in the future, look to what they've done in the past. 55 new or increased taxes. Half of those are on the property sector. A new build in this place, in this state at the minute, in a greenfield site, anywhere between 30 to 45% of that new build is government taxes, fees or charges. And this government wonders why we're in the middle of a housing crisis. Because the cost of building a new place on a greenfield site is going through the roof thanks to the taxes that this Labor government has handed down over the last 10 years. More than $40 billion on cost project overruns, on blowouts on major projects alone in the last decade. You know, it was the Master Builders Association who actually had the gumption to put a figure on that, saying that around 30% of cost blowouts are attributed to union involvement in this state. That is the state of things after 10 years of Labor, after 10 Labor budgets. Victorians continue to pay the price. Acting Speaker, I say to those Victorians who may very well hear this contribution at some point in the future, there is a better way. There must be a better way. I say to Victorian businesses, it won't always be like this. Labor won't always be in charge. There is a new government coming, a new government that promises hope, that promises aspiration, that will get out of your way, that will roll out more red carpet and less red tape that will incentivise Victorian businesses to create wealth, to create opportunity. That is what we offer. And in November 2026, Victorians will have a choice, Acting Speaker, and after 10 years of Labor, and it'll be 12 years at that point, fair dinkum Victoria are sick of this lot. There is a better way and it's coming.